Mayor John J. Tecklenburg became mayor of Charleston in January of this year. And since then, he's been dealing with issues from the Legare Bridge bike lane to 526. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with him and his wife, Sandy Tecklenburg. Mayor and Sandy Tecklenburg, it's so good to see you again.
Quintin, it's great to have you here in the mayor's office.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Right here on Broad Street in downtown Charleston.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate this. Anytime. There's a lot of issues going on. Let me begin with the obvious. Bylaw. As you know, October 1st, that particular store will close for many residents on the east side of Charleston. The pharmacy actually will be closing on September 12th. I know that you met with State Representative Legare and a couple of concerned citizens on yesterday, and ultimately you laid out your 3-point plan about how you will help those particular residents get groceries and pharmacy going forth. But as we sit here right now, can you give me a sense of where you are emotionally when you think of people not having a place to go for grocery and pharmacy in that area?
Well, I'm frustrated with bylaw because they made this decision without coming to the city to ask if we could be of any assistance or try to keep them open. They just called and said, hey Mayor, we're closing. And so I wish we would have the opportunity. You know, it's a frustrating thing also that we can't just say, you know, you got to stay in business, but we can't do that. We can encourage them. I tried to encourage them. They made a business decision. So we have to do the best things going forward to try to serve our citizens. We're going to arrange for a mobile vendor to be available when they close to sell fresh fruits and vegetables and meats. And so that will be a good thing. And we're working with CARTA to provide some transportation over to the next closest shopping center for folks that used to shop at Bilo. And I've talked to the owner, and we're going to work with him to encourage and incentivize another grocery chain to try to come to that location. If not, we'll look at other nearby locations.
Sure. And Sandy, you've been involved with the community for many years. When you heard of the Bilo closing, what was going to your mind?
I was surprised, disappointed, very shocked, just like John. Just incredibly, caught us really off guard. I mean, I go in there a lot too. I, you know, work on the east side a lot and do some stuff at Sanders, buy some snacks in there. Right. But you know, I mean, it's been a lot of controversy, good and bad, you know, and I think that the way John and myself look at things sometimes is it's got to be an opportunity here. We have to turn it into an opportunity, whether it's helping the low country grocer get off the ground or, you know, I don't know, we just, you know, things happen.
It could be an opportunity to help some smaller businesses, some local businesses, some local farmers, some, you know, maybe we can do, in essence, an extension of our farmers market to serve the east sides and neighborhoods in that region. So, like Sandy says, there's some opportunities here that could be helpful.
And something that was also on the mind of many of us Charlestonians is tropical storm Hermine, that is, Hermine. Obviously, that was your first time dealing with the storm as mayor. And when I watched you on the Weather Channel this past Friday, you basically said, hey, hunker down and ride out the storm. And I'm wondering, when you heard that people took your heat, what was going to your mind with that particular issue?
Well, I want to share with you that I was so impressed in our city government's Emergency Operations Center and the coordination and collaboration. We had great communication with all our first responders, police, fire, even the urban forestry folks that go out and chop up a tree when it's falling across our road, and the fire department was there to back them up. But we had great communication and great, you know, GIS, all the computer information coming to us. It was a very impressive scene, unlike anything that when I worked for the city 20 years ago. We are a resilient community, but by having the resource and the plan and the preparedness, I think it makes our community even more resilient and responsive no matter what emergency might come along.
Yes, Sandy, I know that you were in Columbia at the time. Talk to me more about that.
Well, when I left, it was a tropical storm.
Right.
Those don't really bother me.
Oh,
And, you know, I think while I was driving, it was our youngest child's birthday Friday. And I knew that all of our events had gotten canceled the first day.
right.
And we don't have a lot of downtime, so I took advantage of that and went to visit him for his birthday. But as I got there and watching it,
Right.
you know, it kind of got upgraded to a hurricane before it hit Florida, I think. But I was just really hoping that it would kind of break up in a million kind of little pieces. But I was concerned, but not overly concerned, because I've heard about John's shared with how strong our response units are, and he feels really good about everything. And so,
And everything, well, that particular storm actually went up the next day, so thank God for that.
so I think we can all rest assured we know what we're doing here in the emergency response. I think it's fun.
But at that point, I knew on Friday that if everybody just stayed home and hunkered down, as I said, that the weekend was going to be beautiful.
Yes.
And we had some trees down and some minor flooding, but I felt that it wouldn't be major, and we're blessed that that's the way it worked out.
Yes.
Anyway, it really went well.
But let me turn to the phone book. That was controversial a couple of weeks ago between Councilman Rodney Williams and Councilman Bill Moody. Councilman Rodney Williams was out of town, that is, on business, and he actually called in via phone for an important vote on the Legare Bridge bike lane. Bill Moody has some opposition to that, and I know that eventually you and the city attorney basically laid out the rules and regulations when it comes to phone vote. But tell me this, can you explain to the Charlestonians how a vote is dealt with via phone and why it's being used at a certain time?
Well, when I became mayor, opportunity came along. I think it was in March. We had a city council meeting that we had to call about another matter on short notice, and many of the council members participated by phone. So I asked our staff, you know, is this allowed? And they said, we checked with staff and our attorney, and they said it's allowed by state law. We did it earlier in the year, we did it in June, we did it in July. So it surprised me when it became such an issue. So I think it was just the knowledge that Councilmember Williams was going to vote a certain way on a matter that was coming before council that night, that they wanted to bring that question up. So anyway, we again verified through our attorney that it was allowed by state law. There was nothing in the city ordinance that prohibited it. And so as the running the meeting, I allowed the vote to occur. They questioned it afterwards again, but you know, the same answer has now been given again to our council, just confirming through our legal counsel that it's allowed by state law, and in fact the Attorney General has written some opinions that clearly says that it's allowed. Now, council can form its own rules about it if they want to, and I will be taking to council a little more definitive matter defining when phone votes will be allowed. So if it's a situation like it was with Councilmember Williams, he was out of town for he was at Harvard at a school, and he didn't set the time that they had the school, that was set by the school. So, you know, under that case, even if you had the rule that I'm going to propose, if under those circumstances, he would be allowed to vote by phone.
Let me hit back to the obvious.
Yeah.
Legare Bridge bike lane. Obviously, city council and county council have been playing ping pong with that issue.
Yeah.
You guys have voted to, allow this to happen and that to happen. When you think of the safety of Charlestonians potentially riding over that particular bridge, what goes to your mind?
Well, as it's currently configured, it's not safe.
Right.
And we want to provide a safe passage for pedestrians and bicyclists to get from one major part of our city to another. And so, you know, that was part of my determination to support the bike lane, in addition to the fact that, you know, it could be a generation before we replace those bridges and have the opportunity, like we did with the Ravenel Bridge, you know, to build a new one. Whenever we build a brand new bridge, you know, we'll do it right, that's for sure. But I felt like perhaps a generation would be too long to wait to provide safe passage.
Yeah. Let me turn to 526.
Yep.
As you know, the September 13th meeting will be held in Columbia between the Charleston County Council, yourself, as well as Sid. When I interviewed Chairman Elliott Summer last week, he basically said his job is to protect Charleston County. I'm wondering, how will you protect the citizens of the city of Charleston?
Well, let me just say that I will be there with Chairman Summy,
Right.
and I fully support the county's position that what the CIV has asked them to do to unwind the agreement is unreasonable, and I applaud him for standing up, and we're going to ask the CIV to reconsider that, and we believe that the contract should remain in place and that we should continue forward with the project.
Yeah. Sandy, you know all that particular area. How would you like to see those particular people in those areas be protected with the future of 526?
Well, I think the majority of people that live over there want 526 and they want to see it finished. They're willing to help. You know, they were willing to do part of the toll bridge when John suggested that. I mean, you know, people are willing to pay their fair share to help out here rather than just be told, sorry, we're not doing it. And I think that I have a lot of confidence that the CIV is going to do what's right. I think it's their job to do what's right.
Well, we hope so, but back to the question about safety, I think it's incumbent upon our region and our state to provide this infrastructure, this bridge, because there is public safety at risk.
Yes.
And we need additional capacity to be able to evacuate in a time of emergency. And some folks have countered that it's not an evacuation route. Well, it can't be because it hasn't been built yet. So let's build it so we can add some more evacuation capacity. We don't have enough. If we would have had to evacuate everyone from those islands last Friday because of that storm, we would have been up the creek without a paddle.
Describe to me the following one word: body cameras in the Charleston City Police officers.
It's a great thing because it provides accountability. My word would be accountability.
Yes. Sergeant Jasper.
Sergeant Jasper, bigger than we'd like, but we had to comply with what a state judge had ordered us to do.
Yeah. Metanoia.
Metanoia. Community engagement.
Yes. Yes.
Community engagement.
A lot of people don't know, but you're basically spearheading the city of Charleston's involvement with the Triton United Way campaign. What is it like to be a part of that?
It's exciting because I think United Way is also kind of changing their focus on how do we really have an impact with our dollars in the community.
Okay.
Mike Wack is the key person here, but he's amazing. And what I learned from Chris Kerrigan today was they're really thinking about how their dollars actually impact communities. And I know that Darren Goss is thinking about that too, and it warms my heart that people that have a lot of whereas to raise money with a lot of philanthropists, that it can directly affect communities, how the best way. I think it's good.
And speaking of community, one person that we all are loving right now is Raven Saunders.
Hero. She is so amazing and such a professional and so dedicated to excellence and doing the best that she can do at what she does. She's the way she described it when we were together at Burke High School. So I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she's a great role model for kids in our community.
And my brother went to school with her.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, it was.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
And I
sir.
want kids to put themselves in her shoes. I can do this. You know, I can do this, whether it's swimming, running, track, volleyball, whatever.
Schoolwork.
Schoolwork.
Yes, that's a great
You
paragraph.
know, I can do this.
Yes, yes indeed.
They just gotta dream it.
There you go. Can you talk to the mayor, John, by saying, "Dear John"?
And ending it how?
You can say, "Dear Sandy."
Dear God, dear Sandy, you are amazing mate and helper and support for me. You've been incredible.
Oh, thank you, baby. Dear John, I think you are a beautiful, loving, called by the God that we worship, servant, and you have, you see with the eyes of your heart.
Thank you.
And speaking of which, as you know, you've been in the job since January.
Yeah.
As we sit here right now, Mayor, what is the biggest difference between now and really January when you began?
Well, some months have passed. What's amazing to me is how quickly they seem to pass. I just blink my eye. It seems like another month has gone by, and there's not a dull moment. It's fun. I love coming here to work and work on issues that impact our citizens and our community. It's just a great opportunity to serve.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah.
And what are we going to look for in you for the months and years to come?
Well, continuing to do that and to grapple any issue or challenge that comes along. But I do want to work, on some specific things like helping promote affordable housing in our community, taking care of those in need like we did with homeless residents of Tent City, working on 526 and other major improvements that can help our transportation and congestion issues. But the bigger overall picture is just to look at every issue in terms of how it impacts our community's quality of life and trying to make the decisions along the way to promote that.
That's awesome to hear that. Well, Mayor and St. Tecklenburg, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Quintin, you were terrific. We love you.
Thank you.
And we thank
You're
you
also
for the
a
service
Oh, thank
that
you.
you give our community by sharing information with our community.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Likewise.